The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
This is Sarah Longfield, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to have progressive guitar virtuoso Sarah Longfield. Sarah on the show. Sarah has been dubbed one of the world's greatest 7 and 8 string guitarists by Guitar World magazine. Sarah has released her new album, Disparity, via Season of Mist Records. Sarah also has been featured in publications such as Forbes, Revolver, Metal Injection, and many more, including a feature in the new April issue of Guitar World magazine. So we're going to be talking to Sarah about all this good stuff and how she got into the love of the guitar, from piano to violinist, now to guitar. So Sarah, how's it going?
Doing pretty good, thanks. What about you?
Doing awesome. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
How's it been working with Season of Mist Records so far?
Honestly, it's been really good. They were the first record label to approach me over the years that was kind of willing to compromise on a few things. Like I have kind of like I do a lot of things, and so it was always hard to kind of work in like a label deal, and they were really willing to work with me. So yeah, it's been really good.
You played the piano and the violin for many years until you bought your first 7-string guitar at the age of 13. What led you to want to play the guitar, especially a 7-string guitar?
Well, I played violin, and then my violin teacher moved away, and then, I don't know, I was just kind of hanging out at a music shop one day, and I was like, well, guitar has strings, and violin has strings, so I figured maybe I'd give it a go. And as for the 7-string, I just had never seen one before. I thought it was so cool that there were more than 6 strings, that was a thing that existed, that, I don't know, it seemed just like a bigger piano, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was cool.
Playing the guitar, do you like, I mean, obviously you like that more, of course, you've had a band, plus you're doing your own thing with the guitar, but how much freedom does this allow you more with the guitar versus piano versus violin?
I think guitar is really great because you can do so much with it, and there's so many different like applications and stuff. You know, like I feel like with violin, at least when I was younger, my only vision of like violin players were in orchestras, and I wasn't sure if that was where I wanted to end up. You know, I mean, obviously that's not the case. You know, there are YouTube violinists and they play all over in all different genres, but I had never seen it. So when I was younger and I was thinking about getting into guitar, it was just, I saw them play with like, you know, bands. I saw them play in pits for like, you know, plays and stuff. I saw guitar players all over the place, and I don't know. It definitely really freed me up, and I think it's been really good for what I do. You know, you can do YouTube stuff, and I don't know, it's great.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making this new album, Disparity? What's caught your eye about it the most, if anything?
Well, I had a really hard time, like, putting the record together. I was on tour for, like, 6 months straight, like, a year and a half ago, and I wrote a ton of music while I was on the road. And then when I got back, I moved out east, and I wasn't really... I don't know, I felt kind of unsure of what I was doing. And then the label called, and, you know, we kind of set that whole thing up, and I was like, oh no, I have to put a record together. Like, I have all this music and I don't know what to do. And it was in like a bunch of different genres. So I tried to originally make something cohesive, but it wasn't fitting together because I had done so many things over the past year that were all so different and so weird that I eventually just accepted that the record was going to be a little bit like, you know, disjointed and all over the place, and I'm okay with it. So I really like how kind of out there and all over the place it is.
So any of the songs that didn't make this album, will they make the light of day possibly on another EP or another full length maybe down the road?
Yeah, potentially. I released a couple of like YouTube singles and stuff too. So, you know, they trickle out here and there. You know, most of them are just sitting in hard drives. So
any songs standing out more to you than any right now possible on the album? I know it must change every time you listen to it, when you go take a look at it. Do you have any favorites that stick out for you, maybe?
I honestly don't really listen to my music after I'm done writing it. I have like a really weird thing where it's just I'll listen to it if I have to like relearn it to play it live, but other than that, I really take a step back so that the next, album that I write and all the music I write in between isn't really affected by it. So I don't have an answer to that because I haven't listened to it in like 6 months.
So are you like one of these musicians who like cringe and you have to go back and listen to it and go, oh God, why did I do this?
Yeah, definitely. I'll like have to do that before I go on tour because I'll relearn some songs that I might have forgotten,
Yeah.
And I don't have tabs or anything, so I have to just sit down and learn my own record by ear.
You got to do what you got to do.
But it works. Yeah.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
Who produced this album?
I actually produced this album. I'm kind of a control freak, so it was really hard for me to kind of give it up to someone to mix. I wanted to have someone else master it, but we were on kind of a time crunch too, so I ended up doing that as well. But it's just like when I'm writing, I have so many tracks with so many like very subtle like synth stuff included that it's really hard to kind of trust someone else to do it right, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Right now I've been doing all of it, but I'm hoping, if time allows for it, in the next couple releases, I'll be able to like mix and then maybe hand off the mastering to someone else. Or if I'm really, deciding to let go, maybe let someone else mix it, but I don't know.
Producing your own albums, obviously you love the freedom to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, could you eventually work down the road with a producer maybe, or still no?
I don't know. It would have to be like the right fit, you know what I mean? So it would be it couldn't be like a time sensitive thing. Like if I was planning on getting the record done at this specific date, you know what I mean? I feel like that would be really hard for me. I would have to kind of get someone involved earlier on in my writing process and kind of have them sit in and kind of see what's happening. So I don't know. It would be a weird thing. I'm not sure how to do it, so I haven't done it yet.
What do you hope everyone takes away from the new album, or a message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any of your music in general since you don't listen to it?
Yeah, since I don't listen to it. I don't know. I think I don't really write music with the intention of like a certain thing being taken away. I guess I just think like one of the coolest things is when people get inspired, like when they're getting inspired by it or something, and they'll shoot me a message and be like, hey, I was really, feeling, bored and sad and I haven't played guitar in months and I listened to your song and it made me want to play and write music. And so that's the coolest thing for me. So if it can make somebody want to play music or want to make more music, then that's that's the best thing. But I definitely don't, have any intention with it. It's just kind of a thing I do.
The album cover. Did you do the album cover also, or who did this one?
Yep, I did the album cover. I don't know. I was having like a weird day and I was like, I think I'm going to, because normally I'll like draw the album cover or design it or something, but I don't know. I just like started painting my face, all these really weird kind of like dull colors. And then I had my boyfriend Derek just take a picture of it. I was like, that's going to be the cover. That's the thing. So.
How much growth musically have you seen yourself go through up to the release of this album from the previous EPs? You had Zeal in 2011 and Per Avion in 2012. Or has it just been more of a personal growth for you in this?
I think for me, like my end game was just like a personal growth. You know what I mean? Because it was just like I wanted to do these things. Like I wanted to learn how to record music and I wanted to learn how to mix and master and release music, and I wanted to do more YouTube videos, and then I eventually wanted to go on tour, and I did all of that. And so for me, it's just been like, a personal thing, but I guess for the numbers and stuff, it looks like it's, taking a sharp turn up, for the better, but honestly, it's been such a slow climb. Like I've been doing this since I was 14, so it's been very slow, very incremental, like, bit by bit, which has been nice because there hasn't been too much pressure on me at one time. You know what I mean? It's right. Everything gradually increasing, which is nice.
So do you do anything differently during the writing and recording process to help keep your mind fresh and open, to not get bored and not let the music get stale? Do you do anything differently possibly?
I think the thing for me is like I don't really go into a writing process. Like I write music almost every day, like constantly. So it isn't like I'm going to make an album right now and then I think about, how I want the album to sound or anything. I'm just constantly writing. And then I think I just kind of get a gut feeling. Like I'll hit like a certain type of inspiration in my writing and I'll be like, I think this is something I want to build on. And when I get to that point, then I start to make the album more like a cohesive idea. Generally, the last album was a bit of an exception, but for the most part, it's like once I hit that, like, oh, I really like this, then I just kind of go with it as much as I can, and I try to write as much music as I can in the shortest amount of time, so that I don't lose that feeling and that vibe. And that's usually how the albums happen.
Do you have anybody out there that you would like to work with, possibly guitar-wise or band-wise?
Ooh, yeah, I would probably say one of the people I really want to work with, and I've gotten to make a couple of videos with him, is actually Adam Healey. It probably won't happen because he's super busy and I'm super busy, but he's a YouTuber, and he does he does informative videos on like these really interesting aspects of music and like how it works and how it interacts with you and your brain and your body. And he's also like a phenomenal bass player. We ended up at a couple of YouTube get-togethers, and we started just like, well, we had to write together for a couple of them, and I don't know, I feel like we just clicked musically. So I really would like to work with him at some point, because I don't usually click with anybody musically. So I don't know. That would be cool.
What about like pushing yourself as a musician? Because I know everybody's growing every single day. They're coming up with different stuff every single day. And I know you like to do what is called tapping on the guitar. Do you have to push yourself constantly on this, or no?
Well, actually, I think it's kind of the opposite for me. So I can't there's some other more traditional aspects of guitar that I struggle with, but the only reason I started tapping when I was a lot younger was because it was just way easier. It really helped me find a way to play the things I wanted to play that I wasn't good enough to play. So I just kind of like compromised and brought my other hand in, because I learned a lot of stuff by ear. So I had no idea what the musicians were doing or how they were doing it. I wasn't like watching, too many videos of them playing. So I would just try to sit down and figure it out. And I think the tapping just came a little more naturally when I was figuring stuff out because of the piano playing.
That has got to be one of the hardest things ever to do, is to play by ear.
Yeah, it was weird.
Because, I mean, you go with people who have to learn by tablature or being shown. I just can't imagine it being heard by ear and doing it. That's crazy, but kudos you can do that, though.
I don't think I didn't even know what I was doing. I was really young, and I didn't know tabs existed. Like, I knew there were books, but I didn't have money, because I was like a kid. So I couldn't buy the books. So, and the internet wasn't very good. We had dial-up until I was like 14 or 15. So videos weren't really a thing. So I just kind of like listened to music and tried to learn how to play it because I didn't know what else to do.
I remember sitting in grade school, and you mentioned dial-up. That took me back to when I was in grade school, and I used to print out a lot of tablature in the library.
Yep.
Yeah, my library teacher, she didn't like me very well.
Hey, she should have been okay with that. You were just learning. It was resources.
She's like, you just keep printing out this tablature crap. And I was like, well, it ain't crap to me. It's educational. So,
yeah. Oh, man.
So what can fans expect at a show from you when they come out to see you live? What are they going to get?
Well, I mean, I try to, get reception on some of the songs that really go over well live. And then, just kind of play them from a few different albums. I mean, Collapse Expand, which was my last album, is what we've been playing most recently, because everybody that I hire on and I bring on already knows all the material, and it's fun because we were doing some metal tours, so it was like a lot of technical fast stuff, so it kind of fits in. But I'm thinking now that the new record's out and we're going to be touring with some softer acts that aren't so technical and heavy, that I can finally incorporate some of the new material in. So yeah.
We're living in a digital era of recording albums to get music out quicker, and plus we got social media now to reach out to folks who have not got to hear of you as of yet. Do you like this, Sarah, that we're in right now? Plus, I mean, I know you do a lot of stuff on YouTube. You can get a lot of followers on there, but do you like this that we're in right now?
Oh, no, I think it's absolutely horrible.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I know I make my living off of it, but honestly, I would give up my whole career if I could just get rid of the internet. It didn't exist. If the internet didn't exist and I had to sacrifice my career for it, I would in a second. I don't think it's good. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's a good thing. I appreciate that it's given artists a lot of tools and a lot of resources, and I've obviously benefited from those more than a lot of people. So I'm super grateful for that. But I think the consequences of all of it have been just dire. I think people are more depressed now than ever, and I think they feel more hopeless. You know what I mean? I don't think social media is a good thing. I don't think, I don't know. I don't know if it should exist. it's kind of a tough thing. There's a lot of good sides to it and there's a lot of bad sides to it, but yeah, I don't know. I think I would give it up.
See, I agree with you 1,000% on this because I do technical support at my actual job, and I see this every day where families, they just want to hand an iPad off to their child and let the iPad babysit them. There's no communication. There's no, how can I say this? There's no make
like
your damn
connection. It's
yeah. It's like make your damn.
It's ruining. I think humans as like on our most fundamental primal level, we're designed to be social creatures and to respond positively to social interaction. And I think that's part of the addiction to social media. But I don't think it really fulfills that like primal need to connect with other people because you're not there. You can't like empathetically relate to someone if you're not looking at their face and seeing how they're responding to what you're saying or what they're saying. You know what I mean? It's like you lose so much of what makes communication human when you put it all on the internet. And I think art, it's the same way. I think it's cheapening art. I think it's cheapening music. It's taking away the culture that surrounds it. If you think of like the punk movement way back in the 60s and 70s and 80s or whatever, all of those various like genres of music and the movements that followed them were like it was a very multifaceted thing. You had the music and you had the culture and the people and the fashion and the art and where it was happening in the world. You know what I mean? It was so many more things than it is now. And you've literally sectioned all of it off. Like you have to experience art over here, music over here, like, and the socializing over here. And you've robbed an entire generation of people of their culture and their ability to like, connect. And I think that's so evil.
How much local support do you get via venues and plus airplay, if any, possibly, Sarah?
I've been, playing music live in Wisconsin and in Madison for a long time. So, the radio stations here have been really good to me and the venues have been really good. We're at a pretty strange point right now because a lot of the venues are shutting down and new venues are opening up and the metal scene is changing and there really isn't as much of one anymore. And I don't know, things are just changing. So, it's good where I live. I just don't think it's quite got the resources to cater to, more niche genres of metal in the city that I live in currently.
What do you bring to the table for music that's not out there as of right now, possibly, if anything?
I don't know. I guess I definitely hope at some point in my career, I don't think I'm there yet, but I hope at some point I can make something that's just, different and new and maybe unique that would inspire other people,
So what made you want to become a musician, though? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do? I know you did this from a very young age, but what was that spark, possibly?
I've tried to think back on that because my family's, like, not musical, so it wasn't, like, any direct influence, but I had this little toy piano when I was a kid, and it was just, like, a little electric battery-powered one, and I loved playing with it. I was even writing songs. I would, like, write lyrics and then write like my own form of like, I don't know, like sheet music, I guess, to like help remember the parts and stuff. And then when I was in first grade, my best friend started taking piano lessons and I was so jealous. And then it just kind of went from there. So I
drive my friends crazy with the keyboard that's on my iPhone app. I aggravate them with it. I don't care.
Yeah, those are so fun. I love like iPad and iPhone apps.
If it come with the phone, I love it. I dig it. I play it. I don't care if it don't make no sense. I love it.
Yep, I feel you.
So is there a country that stands out or even shocks you that you get support from or even your music gets played in, possibly?
Yeah, I guess Japan is a huge one. That one kind of blew my mind that it's all the way on the other side of the world, And then a couple of months ago, I got back from doing a small clinic tour in Taiwan, which was unbelievable. I've never been to Taiwan before, so that was really cool too.
Folks, you will get out and pick up Sarah's album. It's out right now on Season of Miss Records. It's entitled Disparity. You want to pick this up right now. Sarah, how can folks stay in touch with you? Of course, buy your merchandise, tour dates, things like that. How can they do that?
So I'm pretty active on Instagram and Facebook, and I usually do tour announcements on YouTube as well. So I guess anywhere that you would find any other band information, I am there if you just look up my name.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah, sure. This is Sarah Longfield, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our YouTube link, plus it has our podcast link, and very soon our Twitch link. And also get out and check out Sarah's music. She's very, very great at playing guitar, and she can hold her own with the guys out there right now. So, Sarah, best of luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good to talk to you.